Yeah, welcome to the Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. Reviews and reactions. Let's go. It's the Brown Boy Wonder. Hold it down, representing for the culture. Every episode brings you closer into the mind and the heart of a hustler, where the truth and the groove collide. Stay tuned in, come enjoy the ride. Keep it authentic like that, never hold back. It's the Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. The Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. Subscribe, share, and stay tuned in. The vibe's always on.
This is the Brown Boy Wonder Podcast.
Welcome to the Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. Guys, we are back talking about Batman, the animated series. We're going to talk about episodes 26 through 30 from our schedule. But before we do that, let me introduce my guest. Of course, you know him as Mr. Nitro. It is Anthony. Anthony, how are you doing today?
Mr. Nitro. Oh my goodness, of all the pulls to make. I got a plan. The block is gonna explode, and hopefully everything goes right. I'm doing fine. Thanks for saddling me with Mr. Nitro.
Well, he likes explosions. Of course, at my last guest, I feel like she's in her own wonderland. It is Ray. Ray, how you doing today?
I am fine. I definitely wasn't a last minute swap out or anything. I totally prepared.
I didn't say that, but of course, if you guys hear my voice, it's a little sour, a little croggy, because I guess I have to say it now. John Cena turned heel. So I screamed out of my house, out of my ass, but here we are. I have my water. We'll be fine.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. I saw the clip. He did in fact turn heel. He did a low blow, which if you listen to the pod and you know Abrar, he's a big fan of. So
huge fan.
I don't blame him for 1 second.
Yes, but this is not about wrestling now. But let's get to Batman. Episode 26. It is called Appointment in Crime Alley. Daggett watches with interest as a scale model of Crime Alley is blown up and congratulates his arsonist, Nitro. They discuss their plan to blow up Crime Alley and make it look like an old gas line ruptured so that it cannot be traced back to Daggett. Nitro assures him that it will be done at 9 p.m. sharp. The thoughts on this guy we're seeing him for the first time is Mr. Nitro. What do you guys think about this guy?
He's a good classic themed villain without having to have like a costume or anything, right?
Yeah.
Like he's just kind of a classic pyromaniac with a thing for explosives. So he's got a thing. He's a guy from a show. What's his name, Ray? He was on a TV show back in the day.
It started with an S. Oh gosh.
Oh, I shouldn't have asked.
No.
Well,
he played Squiggy or something, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Wiggy.
Yeah, he was on like a TV show back in the day. I figured I'd ask Ray because she's familiar with old time television shows. She used to watch all sorts of stuff like Welcome Back, Kotter and MASH, but apparently she can't even remember the name of a TV show. So sorry about that. I thought
It's from Laverne and Shirley.
There we
Unless I'm
go.
wrong
Oh,
about
that's
that,
pretty
but-
old.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he kind of reminds me of the Claw King from our last week episode. Where he's like could be his like his little brother.
Like a nasally little man.
Yeah. I don't know. He talks like hey 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 hey. I'm like, all right, Mr. Nitro. Well, meanwhile, Bruce Wayne watches Summer, the reporter, give out a news report about the city's zoning board rejecting Daggett's proposal to bulldoze a block in Park Row, once an upscale section of Gotham, but now the opposite, aka called Crime Alley. However, the area is still occupied, and as the residents have nowhere else to go, they resist the destruction. But Daggett appears on the news, agreeing that although Park Row is historically a landmark, it's a bleeding ground for crime. Bruce realizes that Daggett is up to something, but he has an appointment to keep and an appointment that he will never be late for. I will say this. I know we all hate Mary Hill, but I feel like I hate Daggett more.
I mean, Daggett is a real bastard, man. That's for sure. Obviously, you guys talked about Daggett on the Clayface episodes, right? Voiced by Ed Asner, who sounds great. Yes. He's a real classic sort of like corporate villain, right? Like he's a mean guy behind the scenes, but like he's never caught because he keeps a nice, clean face for the public. Yeah, this guy is an evil man. Where Mayor Hill is like negligent, Daggett is like a truly bad guy.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know if you guys had ever talked about it, but obviously Daggett is in The Dark Knight Rises.
Yes.
It's a slightly different name. It's just John Daggett as opposed to Roland. But yeah, obviously Daggett is a reoccurring Batman character, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice. He reminds me of another Orange Man, but I won't get into that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It reminded me heavily on that guy. I was like, oh, I already hate this guy. Also, we see Bruce Wayne. He is ripped. I need to know his workout. His workout routine.
Up bad guys.
I guess. Call me Robin. Well, Batman heads out to Crime Alley and runs into a young girl who is screaming for help. The girl tells Batman that there are some men threatening her mother, and Batman goes to investigate. Inside the girl's apartment, Batman discovers 3 thugs destroying the place, telling the occupants that she was told to get out. But Batman easily beats the thugs and learns that there are three were working for some corporation and were strong, arming everyone to leave. Leave these people alone, man. Let them live. What the hell?
I that's the interesting thing about this episode is that it's a very real, relatable plot, right? Like this is not some poisoning the water hole kind of villain plot. It is a genuine, real thing that happens to this very day. So I think that's what's so interesting about it is, sometimes these episodes do struggle if they don't have the iconography, if they don't have the A-lister villains and plot lines, but this one is one of those ones that I do think sticks out for being such a just an in-your-face real thing for a kid show.
No, I feel like it's a timeless episode.
Yeah.
Oh. Meanwhile, Dr. Leslie Tompkins, who runs a free clinic near Crime Alley, notes that Batman is late and decides to go out to look for him. A coworker cautions told her to, hey, don't worry, be careful, because there's Crime Alley, of course, crimes can be committed, but Leslie says she's not afraid. While looking for Batman, Leslie comes across Nitro and a thug and confronts them. The two capture her and tie her up, dropping a blasting cap in the process. The plot thickens, as they say. Batman arrives at the Park Row Community Center and learns that Leslie has gone looking for him. He quickly goes off in search. Meanwhile, Leslie is tied up in a building filled with explosives. Nitro tells her that their next target is an old hotel. Leslie protests that there are people living in the hotel, but the thugs do not care. They gagged her and left. Elsewhere, a desperate man who has lost both of his jobs and his house is holding a clerk from Daggett Industries hostage on top of a roof, and he plans to kill him. Batman and manages to save the hostage and capture the madman. There's a part where Batman was posing like Spider-Man on top of the billboard. I thought that was a cool shot.
Right, Batman being athletic, I guess, and nimble.
Yeah. And there was that cop who's like, who are you? He's like, dude, I'm Batman. I got this.
You must be new here.
Yeah. There's a lot of new cops dealing with Batman. After finishing his task, Batman goes to Leslie's house and flips through an old scrapbook containing newspaper articles about the tragedy that claimed the lives of his parents and how Leslie comforted a young Bruce Wayne after he lost his family. Batman searches her house and sees a homeless man staring through the window. Batman confronts that dude and discovers that he picked up the blasting cap. After some pressure, the man reveals that where he saw the men take Leslie. Batman heads out to get Leslie, but a trolley driver passes out at the controls and the vehicle goes out of control. Batman has no choice but try to stop the trolley. He manages to do so, but the cost of losing his Batmobile back wheels. Time is rapidly running out, and Batman must travel without a vehicle. Batman needs to go to Discount Tire. I think they have a good deal on the back tires, at least.
Potentially. Do they have bulletproof like tires for Batman?
No, I don't think
so. So here's the thing. So we have like a trolley system like we're living in San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
I never really thought of Gotham City having like a trolley system like that. Like you think of like the sort of like high rise subways like Chicago or something like that. You don't normally think of it as like a trolley car on the road. So a bit weird. It feels like they wrote that idea, and like I'll be surprised if we ever see a trolley car in Gotham City ever again after this. This might be the one and only appearance. We'll see.
I think so. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't fit the vibe, or maybe it only goes to Crime Alley, not like the major city of Gotham. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, I just thought it was a bit strange in Gotham.
Yeah, I think so too. Nitro and Crocker finishes up their job, but Batman catches them both in the act. Nitro quickly confesses what they're doing and says that they have to get out of there before the bombs go off at 9 o'clock. Batman locks them up in the back of the van, ensuring that the bombs do go off. They'll go up with them. That's a little crazy for Batman, at least.
It's people's lives are in danger. You know, this is a serious episode.
Very serious. He searches into the building to save Leslie. He defuses the bomb next to her and warns him to get the people out of the hotel before it explodes. We see Daggett gives a speech to the zoning board, keeping one eye on his watch and arguing that they cannot allow the underclass to hinder them from building a better tomorrow. As he finishes his speech, the bombs go off, and several buildings are destroyed. Daggett arrives at the fallen strip of Crime Alley and is shocked to discover that Batman has disarmed the main bomb, and his thugs have only managed to destroy a few buildings. His thugs are quick to confess, but Daggett denies any involvement and drives away. Batman starts to go after him, but Leslie tells him to let it go, and he remains that there's an appointment to keep. Dude, get him. Don't listen to Leslie. What the hell is he doing? He just stops.
Gets really pissed here. Yeah, he really gets really angry about it, but he's got more important matters to attend to. Daggett will always be around.
I guess. Well, the Batman and Leslie go to the spot where his parents were killed. Batman lays 2 roses down in memory of his parents. Leslie claims that it's sad what happened to Crime Alley and that good people lived there once. Batman assures her that good people still live in Crime Alley. And that's the end of the episode. Are we giving this episode a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
I give this episode a thumbs up. I made my comments earlier about how it felt really like true to life and interesting and kind of a real life problem that cities and people in sort of lower income places face. Obviously, Ray, I know you're a fan of Leslie Tompkins. So I'd love to hear your comments on her. But yeah, for me, it's a thumbs up for this one.
Yeah, I also agree. It is a thumbs up. I love Leslie. I'm a big sucker for doctor characters,
Yes.
and I like that she has a connection to Bruce, so much so that, like, of course she knows that he's Batman. Like,
That's true.
like she's great. I love her. I can't wait to see her again. But yeah, thumbs up for me.
Yeah, same here. Thumbs up for me too. It's a very real episode for a kid show, and we need it. Kids got to know these things.
True.
All right. Do you have an interesting fact for this one? There are a couple of references to classic Batman creators from the comic books as street names on this episode, including Bill Finger and Don Broom.
All right.
All right, and now let's get into episode 27. Not a lot of people like this episode, but I watched it twice and it changed my mind.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It is called The Mad as a Hatter. All right. We got here Jervis Tech was a meek scientist experimenting with a mind control experiment who had a small group of lab rats, is given a miniature tea set and react to it as much as a normal rat would. However, Jervis, an expert in neurotechnology at Wayne Enterprise, activates a mind control device and the rats suddenly sit around the table and accept the tea poured into their cups. Jervis is delighted with his success, but a blonde coworker named Alice runs in and warns Jervis that Dr. Cates and Mr. Wayne are arriving. Bruce asks Jervis about a proposal project on using a microchip to increase the brain potential. However, having been working on his mind control device, Jervis can only offer an excuse. Bruce is fine with it, but the abusive Dr. Cates is not. As she's leaving the lab, she warns Jervis, heads could roll if you slip up again. My goodness. Alice kindly tries to cheer up Jervis, but having a boyfriend, Billy, she considers him only as a dear friend. Guys, I think it's a moment of silence to do this because Jervis just got friend-zoned. Send your thoughts and prayers to him.
No.
All right, you heard it here first.
You heard it here. Jervis thinks about leaving Alice alone or using his mind control device to make her love him. Either one of these ideas truly appeals to him. However, Jervis hears Alice crying and crying so much to his happiness, he discovers after they had a fight. So he's so happy. He's like, "Oh, I might coming in," because Billy broke up with her. Jervis sees this opportunity to woo her. We see a big smiley face on Jervis' face.
Well, he usually has a big smiley face with those giant teeth that he has. Like, this is let's just say Jervis is an unfortunate looking man.
Yeah.
He has no chin. Like,
no.
it just doesn't happen. Like, it just doesn't connect. There's just a little nothing there. So, this is, I do feel bad for him in a sense, but at the same time, as we quickly learn, he does things that no man should. So,
no,
I get it.
Yeah. As we get into this episode, he is, as they say, an incel. So don't be like Jervis here.
Yeah, good point.
Well, he plans to take her out on a magical date, but can't figure out how he could impress her. He then noticed his poster of Alice at the Mad Hatter's tea party and thinks he should pick up his mind control device. That night, Jervis arrives at Alice's home dressed up as the Mad Hatter character from the Alice in Wonderland and invites her to go on a date. And so they can see the Gotham's can be a wonderland. Ray, if a guy dressed up like this to your house, I'll say, what would you say?
What would he say?
What would you say?
So what would you say?
Okay, I was about to, like, I don't know what he would say. I mean, I don't know. I like Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Like, I don't know.
Oh, okay. So
Oh,
this
okay.
was not off-putting to you. Is this man dressed as the Mad Hatter?
Well, if it's him, yes. I was just asked if a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What if he's dressed up as the Johnny Depp Mad Hatter?
Oh, fuck no.
Oh,
Get out of here.
I would say this: I'm not a big fan of Alice in Wonderland. Not a big fan. I've seen both of the movies.
No, I gotta go. I gotta leave.
No. I'm just not a big fan. I mean, I don't hate it. It's just there for me, at least. I've seen both of the movies.
I mean, if
I
you're
can't say it.
All right. Well, if you're talking about the movies, that's fine.
Okay, that's good.
Have you seen the original animated Disney film?
I've seen it, but not really. I know of it.
Oh my god.
Really. Well, that's, I mean,
I know the lore.
It's interesting. Right. Well, obviously, because I guess since we're sharing our opinions right now, I do like Alice in Wonderland, the animated film. At least I haven't seen the live action Disney movies. However, I'm not the biggest Mad Hatter fan of the Batman villain, the Mad Hatter. I had a toy of this guy. I had a toy of this version of Mad Hatter for some reason. So I have that to go off of in my life. But like, he's such a specific thing that I've never really connected with him as like a Batman villain necessarily. So which Ray is both a fan of Alice in Wonderland, through the Looking Glass and all that, as well as the villain character of the Mad Hatter. So she makes up for our dislike of certain takes on here. Because I don't want to like shit on this episode because the episode itself is fine, but I'm going to try to not be biased and show my dislike for Mad Hatter.
No, well, I'm glad Ray is here so she can defend the character and Alice in Wonderland. I'm glad you're here. Because if you weren't here, whoever was supposed to be here probably will shit on it. So I'm glad you're here.
Oh, absolutely. He would have.
Yeah, I think that guy will hate it.
Gotta get him call in.
Oh, well, I'll talk to him next week. Out in the park, a couple of thugs see Alice and Jervis thinking that they found some easy money. They proceed to attack Jervis, but as they grab him, he manages to pull two of his mind control cards in their headbands and take over their minds. He tells them to go off to jump in the river. Jervis is a little biatch. Just fight them. Don't use your. Come on, just fight them. Did you think they? Okay, I thought Jervis hired these guys to do this.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I
had
thought.
that thought too, because they have headbands on.
Yeah.
For him to put his little cards in. I did have that thought. I was like, it's very lucky that they both had like bandanas. Otherwise, this wouldn't have worked. Like everyone they meet tonight, luckily has some form of headwear that he can slip a little mind control card into. But you're not alone. I had the same thought.
Okay.
But no, these are guys just goons
with headbands at night. It's weird. The call goes out on the police band that there's a possible suicide, and Batman goes to investigate. He discovers the two muggers trying to jump off the Gotham Bridge. By the way, we see Batman got up to the bridge by ejecting his seat. I thought it was a really cool scene there. He just got up there.
He had to. He thought people were killing themselves. No time to get out of the car. Just go.
Right, but he has like a button just to get up there. Like he landed perfectly too. So I'm like, oh, that's Batman, I guess. Well, they are totally unresponsive to Batman, even pushing him off the bridge and trying to jump in the river. Batman manages to save them and discovers one of the Jervis mind control cards. Meanwhile, Jervis takes Alice to the some club. There he used his mind control device to make other people his servants and make Alice to think that he is someone of utmost importance. I've never seen a desperate man to do this at all. For someone trying to woo someone, it's a little too much. It's getting a little creepy here.
And it's all this for this girl
Alice.
that she's clearly got nothing going on in that head. You know,
No.
she's really not that bright. Like, one, she can't notice that everyone has these giant cards in their headwear, whether it's the chef's hat or the bandanas or whatever. And she just doesn't get that, one, like, Jervis is clearly hating on her constantly, trying to woo her.
Yeah.
But like, she just like, oh, thank you for taking me out tonight, Jervis. I needed this. Like, she's just a complete airhead. So he's just infatuated with her because her name is Alice. I think that's about it.
Yeah. Well, maybe she likes a free dinner. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe she's up to
Doesn't
something.
like a free dinner.
Yeah. After dinner, Jervis takes Alice to a storybook land and tells her about how Alice in Wonderland was always his favorite story. He asks Alice to dance, reciting the mock turtle song. Will you, won't you, will you, won't you join the dance?
I do have to say something real quick here.
Yeah.
This man is a self-proclaimed fanatic. I'm just going to say it.
Mm.
And he just calls it Alice in Wonderland. That is not what the book is called.
Oh.
It's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and then it's Through the Looking Glass. They are two different things.
Oh.
He just put the brand, you know, the general the general thing of.
I guess. Maybe he's so nervous in front of Alice, he forgot his lines. Actually, I'm not defending Jervis. I'm not doing that.
I take it back.
Fake fan. He just knows the imagery.
What a fake person. Having returned to the Batcave, Batman studies the mind control card, and Alfred, who recalls seeing a similar card from his childhood, approaches him with a copy of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and opens the book to a picture of Alice at the Mad Hatter's tea party. Batman remembers that Jervis had exactly the same picture in his lab and was also working on the same type of technology. Alice accepts Jervis' kind gestures as simple attempts to cheer her up. She comes home and finds Billy is there waiting for her. He apologizes and says if they can talk. That should be a lesson for all the guys out there. Just say sorry and everything be okay.
He gave her a flower too.
Yeah, that's
he's a normal man. You know, he's not trying to do this big fancy night out on the town and mind control people and do all these things. You're right. He just apologized.
Yeah, don't do too much. Just do the simple things. Also, Billy kind of looks like a young Bruce Wayne, at least from the arts. His face structure, he kind of looks like Bruce Wayne, almost.
Handsome, dark-haired man.
Yeah. The next day, Jervis arrives at work feeling wonderful. He's like, la la la. However, he is infuriated when she flaunts her engagement ring to him after learning that Billy had proposed to her. He insists to himself that he could still fix the problem. To make matters worse, Dr. Cates arrives and informs him angrily that Bruce has asked him to see him. Jervis snaps and places a mind control card on her head and leaves. Later, Bruce learns that Dr. Kate and Jervis left together a while ago. However, before she can further explain things, she gets a call from Billy and immediately breaks out in tears. Jervis has captured Billy and uses his mind to control him to break up with Alice. Oh man. I feel bad for Alice. She's going through like an emotional roller coaster.
And mind control.
And mind control, yeah. Alice returns home and discovers that Jervis is there waiting for her. However, Batman is also there and demands to know what Jervis did with Billy and Dr. Cates. However, the Mad Hatter calls two thugs dressed up as the Walrus and the Carpenter. While they attacked Batman, Jervis placed a card on Alice's head, brainwashing her and escaping. Batman continues to fight the duo, but they eventually became docile and discovers that they were also under mind control. All right, now he calls himself the Mad Hatter. What do you guys think about this character now?
I mean, I guess this is the problem with characters like this, is that he's fairly one note. Like, he's fun as like a guy who thinks he's the Mad Hatter and he's obsessed with Alice in Wonderland. Like, I think that's a fine sort of thing, but like past this point, I just don't think there's anything more to him, you know? Like, I think that's it. He's just this guy, and like that's all there is. So I mean, it's a fun sort of Batman adventure seeing him fight like the Walrus and the Carpenter and the Queen of Hearts and the Bill the Lizard guy. Like, I get that, but that's about all I get from it. So it's not exactly like drawing me in personally.
What about you, Ray?
Well, I mean, it's nice to see the imagery, but like, I will say I don't like this version of the Mad Hatter. He's kind of nothing. Though I will say I think it's funny that a little someone doesn't find, you know, a suitor aggressively going after someone slightly relatable.
I'll just say the one thing I like about this, like Mad Hatter usually in fiction, both in like the works of the books and then in Batman, he's usually like a shorter guy, right? Like in the Arkham games, he was like a shorter guy.
Yes.
And in this, he's like a towering man, and I think that's kind of like intimidating. Like, he's like, because of like the way his suit is made, he has these like broad shoulders, and his hat makes him tall. It kind of gives him like this kind of big, scary man approach versus the kind of leprechaun-sized man that they sometimes depict him as. So I like that he's a bit more for a girl that feels like vulnerable and like preyed upon. This big, scary man is a bit more of a threat, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like a scarier idea.
I see that.
He's definitely scary when you take into the fact of like, well, he's clearly obsessed and like did not notice at all where like he was like leaning in towards Alice earlier and she's like, oh, I'm just gonna lean away. Oh, what a good friend you are. How great. Bye. Just not. No social cues are being registered whatsoever.
No awareness. It's okay. That's why we like. No, Alice, come on, man. Well, Batman learns where the Mad Hatter got the card and goes to the storybook land where Mad Hatter sends several of his mind control victims dress up as the other characters from Alice's story, among Dr. Kate and Billy. After him on a giant chess board, the Mad Hatter challenges Batman to harm innocent people to get at him. The group attacks with increased strength, and Batman is nearly defeated. However, he manages to pull the helmet of Bill the Lizard and discovers that it's Billy. He tells Billy that since the other people won't attack him, he must use this to his advantage. Billy removes the people's hats while the Mad Hatter runs into the card maze. Dude, that lady kept saying "off your head" every time. I'm like, shut up. She said it like 10 times.
Well, how else are you supposed to know who she is?
I know who she is. You don't have to say it 10 times. Oh my god.
It's true. They really drilled it in.
Also, I'm pretty sure even though the character's name is actually Bill, I think he's dressed up as the Frog Footman to also just prove how much I know about Alice Adventures in Wonderland.
I'm glad you're here. Batman manages to reach the Mad Hatter, who threatens to kill him for attempting to take Alice away. Batman then calls out Jervis for reducing Alice to a soulless little doll with his brainwashing. However, the Mad Hatter angrily claims that it's Batman's fault. He had to resort to this and attacks him with an axe. Running back into the card maze, the Mad Hatter manages to trap Batman under some card walls and prepares to cut off his head. Batman, however, throws a batarang at a hanging statue of a jogger walk, causing it to fall onto the Hatter, the Mad Hatter. Batman then destroys the control band hidden in his hat, while Billy removes Alice's mind-controlling headband, returning her to her normal self. During Alice and Billy's reunion, Jervis gazes off from afar and, heartbroken, recites the mock turtle, would not, could not, would not, could not, oh, could not join the dance, while Batman stands over him. All right, that was that for that episode. Do we give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
You know, I'm trying to think of that because I didn't hate this episode.
Yeah.
I thought it was a proper use of the character. So I'm gonna give it a thumbs up because it did what it needed to do. It was about a guy who loved the Alice in Wonderland stories,
Yes.
and then got obsessed with a girl and did mind control stuff. That is the Mad Hatter. So for that, I will give it a very faint thumbs up.
Great. What about you, Ray?
I mean, yeah, if there was like a meh option, I would go for that. But like, it is the character, it is the gimmick. The characters we see are the ones that are from the first book. There's no Tweedledee or Tweedledum. That's from the second book. But yeah, like it's nothing really to write home about. But like it did its job. So thumbs up.
Yeah, look, when I first saw this episode, I'm like, dude, I hate this episode. I hate it so much. I hate this guy. He's just a loser. Come on, how can you do this? But then a friend of the show, Skyler, I talked to him about this episode, and he's like, watch it again. He said something like that. I was like, okay, let me just rewatch it later on. I rewatched it. I was like, it's not too bad. I get it. From your guys' points, I also get it. So it's a thumbs up for me.
All right. Good
It was going to be a huge thumbs down, huge. but I was like, it's not that bad. It's all right. I'll give you a free pass, Mad Hatter. I do have an interesting fact for this episode. Roddy McDowell, who played Mad Hatter here, previously played the Bookworm in the 1960s Batman TV series, and of course, he played Cornelius and Caesar in the original Planet of the Apes movies.
Yeah, I knew he was in Planet of the Apes films. It's one of his bigger roles, obviously. But I didn't know he was also in Batman, so good for him for pulling double duty. Big
duty there. But the Bookworm, never heard that character. You guys know Bookworm?
I see. I want to say he's a '60s exclusive character, like the show. I know the show did a lot of like their own characters, like Egghead and King Tut. Like I think those were all from the show. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that was the case. And I don't know if he's been in a whole lot since.
Okay. Well, I guess his finisher is the bookmark. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
All right. Let's move on here. The next episode is. I'll say, okay. These 5 episodes, there were 2 episodes that were my favorite, but I'm going to knock down one. And this is my favorite episode for this week. It is episode 28, Dreams in Darkness.
Yes. Spoiler alert. This is also one of my all-time favorite. This is like top 10 favorite episodes. I love this one.
It's great here. In a cell at Arkham Asylum, Batman is strapped with a straitjacket. He is now the latest addition to the Arkham line of maniacs, and none of the staff will listen to a word he says, due to his apparent insanity. With no other choice, Batman starts recounting how he ended up in this situation. Have you ever guys wondered if Batman was in an Arkham Asylum? This is the episode here. Some days before being locked in Arkham, he learns of a plan to poison a spa near Gotham. While he fights the man drilling into his spa pipes, both are drowsed with the poisonous gas the man was going to pour into the system. Later on, though, Batman has other concerns as the man is hospitalized following a severe bout with visions and nightmares, both extremely vivid. While examining the blueprints of the device used by the man on the Batcave computer, he briefly sees Joker reflected in the screen, but when attacking in response is just Alfred. Our Bruce Wayne is losing it.
Yeah. Yeah, this episode builds a really good sense of like confusion and fear. Like it's pretty clear what's going on, but at the same time we have no idea what's going on. And on top of that, the narration for this episode is so cool. I love it. Like obviously in comic books, narration is a very, very common thing, whether it's like an omnipotent third person narrator or if it's like an inner monologue. And hearing Batman kind of sort of narrate the story and talk about what's going on with him, I thought was really, really cool. And yeah, seeing Batman teeter like this, we've seen Batman, be afraid and be under the influence of things before, but not like this. This is very unique.
I'd never seen him like this before. I was actually scared for him. A little bit.
Yeah.
Realizing something's wrong, Batman enters the hospital to examine what has infected the man and talks to the supervisor, Dr. Wu, while Wu has already analyzed and proceed an antidote to counter the poison. Its effects include sedating the target for full 2 days. Oh yeah, we see Batman doing some blood work. I've never seen that before. Batman doing blood work? Don't he do it at his Batcave?
I mean, he knows what he's doing, So, but there's some stuff going on right now, right? There's some further things going on. So maybe normally, but not this time.
Yeah, it's just weird. The picture of him just doing blood work, like his sleeve is folded. It's like, oh, it's like a normal day in the office. Batman realizes that with the plot to poison the city's water supply going on, he can't risk sleeping for that long. He pockets the medicine without taking it and heads off to Arkham to search for the Scarecrow, the only man of the knowledge of fear to create such a chemical. However, while driving, he sees Robin standing in the middle of the road. He swerves with that drive, then crashes and promptly rescued by being imprisoned by the Arkham staff. As Batman incoherently babbling and visions grow to worse, the Arkham administrator, Dr. How do you say his last name? Is it Bar Mammoth? It's BARTHOLOMEW.
Bartholomew?
Well, I'll just call him Dr.
Let's call him Bart.
Bart,
Okay.
Yeah, I'll call him Bart Simpson. Dr. Bart decides to take him as a patient and ignore his pleas to call Commissioner Gordon and Dr. Wu. He leaves the cowl on him as he believes removing it could shatter the remains of the Batman sanity. Batman is straitjacketed and locked in a cell. When he tries to explain Scarecrow's plot to poison the city water supply, the clueless Dr. Bart simply dismisses this as well and assures him that Scarecrow is contained.
This man needs to be fired. Let me just say.
Yeah.
You never entertain someone's delusions. That is no.
So
it doesn't matter. It's his only thing hanging on. It's like, no. You strip that away and you get them back to being an actual person again. You don't entertain it at all. Stupid. Also, he's Batman.
Yeah.
What do you mean you guys think he's crazy right now? He said someone's threatening the water supply. Report it. It's possible. I have no clue why they're holding him.
Doctors don't like to listen to their patients, I guess. I don't know. Well, was there a time where you're telling the truth, but people don't believe you?
Yeah.
Okay. It has happened to me. It has happened to me too when I was a little kid. But no one believed me. Well, Scarecrow, safe in his lair, reveals that the fact that Batman is now considered a madman, and that he tricked him into attacking the man and trying to poison the spa to infect him. His giant pump machine is ensconced within the cave network below Arkham, which supplies Gotham's water supply. After filling it with the new fear toxin, he plans on releasing a massive amounts into the Gotham supply, transforming to a fear-filled inferno. We get a scene where Batman gets a vision of him trying to save his parents from being killed. I think that's the first time we were seeing that incident in the show, at least, right? About something about his parents' death. I think it's the first episode here.
It was previously referenced in terms of the obviously the Scarecrow episode where he debuted, where we got the whole vision of his father and everything. So, but yeah, literally the visuals here are so intense and so like this whole episode and these parts here are burned into my brain. Like the visual of the gun and everything, like all of that from my childhood. Like I was terrified of the Scarecrow as a kid. Like this guy scared the hell out of me. So because of stuff like this, and I know we joked about his previous episodes with his sock head and the football episode. Like he doesn't have the strongest episodes, but when he hits, like this episode here, he hits hard.
Absolutely.
The art direction in this episode is so great. The fact that you see his parents walk down the tunnel and then it turns into this hellscape and the tunnel turns into the barrel of the gun, but because it's like a sewer main, it's red because they made it like a hellscape. So the gun's bleeding. They found a way to have a bleeding gun in the show, and it's like that.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We see you, Tim. Who's the creators? Bruce Tim and Paul Denny. We see you guys. We see you. Well, when Dr. Bart finds out that Scarecrow isn't in his cell, he talks to Batman and finally believes him. Finally. However, he refuses to let him go after Scarecrow, as he is still intoxicated by the fear gas, but promises to alert the police of Scarecrow's whereabouts. Realizing he has no other choice, Batman forces his way past the order lines. He manages to overcome the first few, but then realizes he can't compete with a larger force of them if he's straitjacketed. He hides and manages to free himself of the straitjacket using a fire axe. A guard attempts to tranquilize Batman, but he dodges like a boss and forces the guard to take him to the basement. Then leaves him handcuffed. Dude. Solid Batman things right here going right now. Batman finds the entrance to the Arkham Reservoir, but before he can attack Scarecrow's machine, he again assaulted by his visions of practically all of his rogues gallery, and even Robin and Alfred plays a part in a massive nightmare where Batman is attacked from all fronts, eventually dragged into an abyss, where he is devoured by a giant Scarecrow. Great scene. I wish they put this in the live action movies, but at least, again, what you said, Ray, great art direction here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'd love to see something like, because I obviously like what they did with Jonathan Crane and Batman Begins, but even in the grounded world of the Matt Reeves stuff, I do think you could have sort of a trippy, kind of wild scene. I never saw the Spider-Man movie with Mysterio in it, but like I saw that scene, right? The Mysterio
Right.
scene where he like there's that part where he makes him look like he's in like a snow globe head and everything, and he's messing
Yes.
with him with all the projections. Like something kind of weird and psychological could easily work in sort of a hallucination type of moment. And yeah, for this, it gets really, really weird. I like that
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, if Batman gets nightmares, it's pretty much will be like this. All of his main arch enemies attacking him
Yeah.
all around. Even Robin, oh my goodness. A big giant Robin. Barely snapping out of it, he finds a giant pump and attacks it. But the visions kicked in again, and he is left to attack what, from his point of view, is a horde of monsters. Pretty much thugs around him. He again manages to overcome the fear and destroy the master control. However, Scarecrow foresaw that he had installed a second command console for such a for like just in case. When he reaches the second console, however, he is finally plugged into a nightmare without an end and sees a simple power cord as a snake. Oh my goodness! But he yanked it, and he triggers the machine's destruction and manages to pull together a defeat. And he defeated Scarecrow, who he exposed to the gas when a tank containing it bursts. Scarecrow ends up once again imprisoned by Arkham Asylum, screaming and muttering, and Batman is finally able to take the antidote. As he sleeps, a giant bat shadow covers him, and the end. Perfect ending.
This is where Ray pointed out where he sleeps in his big bed with his yellow like sheets and everything. That yellow might be Batman's favorite color. You know, he's got so much yellow.
Yes, he got that. Oh, of course, his suit, right? He got the yellow shirt.
He's got the yellow shirt. Yeah, he's got the yellow sheets and bedding and everything. Like he loves his yellow. I absolutely love this episode. I said that at the beginning. I think it's great. It's a great showing for Batman, great showing for Scarecrow. It's a good, like, unique idea. I still feel that this episode feels more like an introduction to the new Scarecrow design than the football episode, because he's like shrouded in shadow at first, right? And then it's kind of like a reveal.
Yes.
So yeah, it's it doesn't have to be like it's not that important, but it almost felt like it was almost supposed to be a reveal. But either way, this goes without saying, it's a thumbs up for me.
Yeah. What about you, Ray?
Oh yeah, it's just for the bleeding gun alone. It's a thumbs up.
Like, you and that bleeding gun.
It's so cool. Okay, like
Pretty cool.
yeah.
Yeah, a huge thumbs up for me. It is probably one of the. If we're gonna rank all these episodes at the end, this is probably my top 5. I think.
Yeah. Like I said, it's definitely in my top 10 for sure. It's that good.
Well, I do have an interesting fact for this episode. Spoiler alert. When Batman is shown being wheeled on a stretcher, he raves. Well, he says, "Robin, look out! Joker's got a bomb." This is a reference to Jason Todd, the second Robin in the comic book series, who was killed by a bomb set by the Joker.
Oh, okay. It's a good way to work it in.
Yeah. All right, that was a great episode. Now let's get into this little fun episode, I think.
There was literally a point watching this next episode where I was like, "Oh, this might be fun." We'll see if I was right about that.
Okay. Well, we're talking about episode 29, Internal Youth. In the dead of the night, a woman runs in fear through a remote forest, being pursued by a mysterious figure in a jumpsuit. When the woman stops, out of breath, the figure catches up. The woman, Miss Thomas, begs for her life, having seen what has happened to the others. But the figure sprays Miss Thomas with some kind of chemical. There she is creaking with sound, and Miss Thomas becomes completely petrified. The woman then says to the immortalized Miss Thomas, "You and your kind owe Mother Nature a big debt, and I will ensure you pay up." When she's frozen, I guess it reminds me of like the nuns from the Silent Hill movie or games. Like the way they move, it's just kind of creepy.
Yeah, right. The sort of like, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. That's what it reminded me of. But I wonder who this lady is. Who sprayed Miss Thomas?
It could be anybody. Yeah,
it could be anybody. It could be the Clock King. You never know. The next day at Wayne Manor, Bruce Wayne has an angry phone call, a conversation with a Wayne Enterprise director who made an unsanctioned deal with a slash and burn operation in the Amazon rainforest and threatens to fire him unless he cancels the deal. While sorting through the mail, Alfred finds a promotional video cassette from something called the Eternal Youth Spa. Two pretty young women, Lily and Violet, extend Bruce a personalized invitation to a free weekend at the spa. Somebody rang the doorbell. Alfred enters the door to this special lady friend, artist Maggie Page, whose morning jogs has taken her past the manor. Though pleased to see her, he is a little embarrassed by her open flirting in front of Bruce. When asked, Bruce says he's a little too busy, but suggests that Alfred and Maggie should go instead. Alfred, of course, he declines, but Maggie is delighted and drags a less than enthusiastic Alfred along with her. All right, we get a new character in the show here, a character of Maggie Page. What do you guys think about this lady friend?
She's horny for Alfred.
Yeah, she's a bit much.
Well, if she's happy with Alfred, I'm happy.
But is Alfred happy?
You know how they say
He's a very reserved man, and she's
Very.
a bit too much for him. I don't think he can handle her.
you know what they say, opposites attract. I guess. Well, I'll say, who could play Maggie Page in a live-action movie? I'm trying to think of any old ladies out there.
That old woman.
Old woman actress.
You heard it here, folks. We're doing a casting call. We have the connections. Send us your oldest lady pics at brownboywonderpod@gmail.com.
Yes.
And then we'll forward those to James Gunn and Matt Reeves.
You know what's crazy? That is my email. So,
I'm sorry.
so please send me. Oh, how about Helen Mirren? She can play Maggie Page.
Well, we cast her, folks. Do not send your old lady pics.
Please.
Yeah, cancel those emails. That's fine. We found her. It's good.
We got her. Well, when they arrive at the spa and announce they are to take Bruce's place, Lily and Violet confer with their boss, hidden in the shadows. The boss tells the girls to let them in. Someone has to pay for Wayne's crimes. The new guests at the spa are treated to a welcome lecture from the spa founder, Dr. Daphne Demeter. She has invented a new compound, Demeterite, I think? Yes. Which has been embedded into the spa's food, drink, water, and air. Alfred does not hide his sussiness, but is pleasantly surprised by the tastiness of the water and fruit samples they are offered. I would say, of course, Alfred's still unamused with everything, but he might not be unamused for a bit. First of all, even if it's ball, come on, be happy. Just relax, Alfred.
He's Alfred. You can't do that.
Be like Michael Caine. Remember in Dark Knight, he was at the boat, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna get rubbed." Be like him,
Right.
Yeah. Batman is informed that several industrialists, including Miss Thomas, disappeared mysteriously. In her apartment, she finds another promotional video for the spa. He calls Alfred at the spa, who duly inquires about Miss Thomas and is told that she's left unexpectedly a few weeks earlier. Alfred adds that he is having a wonderful time, thank you, and will return to the Wayne Manor as a new man. But Bruce is not entirely convinced. Yes, of course, indeed, when Maggie drops Alfred off the weekend, he bids her a fond goodbye with a complete kiss on the cheek. Do we ship Maggie and Alfred right now?
I'm gonna say no. I think it's too much. I think it's too. I get we want to try to give Alfred a little fling, a little something, but I just don't like this woman.
Yeah.
Well, I will set up their wedding, so I'll invite you guys. Don't worry.
Okay, all right.
I will steal
Okay.
their presents.
Well, later that day, Batman pulls the Batmobile into the Batcave and is taken back to see Alfred decorating the cave with potted plants. Now a firm believer of the meteorite, Alfred takes a dose in a glass of water and suggests that Bruce should do the same. However, he suddenly sways, feeling faint, and Bruce has to help him upstairs into bed. Suspiciously, he takes a sample of the meteorite for analysis. When we get older, maybe in our 60s, will you guys take this meteorite?
No.
No.
Well, I've seen the rest of the episode of Abrar, so no.
Oh, okay, all right. For those who are listening for the first time, please comment yes, because I need to know the stats for that.
Please, I'm begging.
Please comment yes.
Yes, please.
Just ask them for their honest opinions. You told them to comment yes, so you can get the stats.
Yes.
You're faking your results for this clinical trial.
That's what I do. The next morning, Alfred rises from his bed, takes in the morning sunshine, and instantly feels better. He sees Maggie outside his window, and they agree that they are sharing the same thought. They want to return to the spa. In the cave, Batman tests the meteorite by combining an equal amount of an enzyme with human plasma. He causes a violent chemical reaction, and a vine grows out of the test tube and catches Batman's arm. Batman breaks free and rushes out of the Batcave to warn Alfred. However, finds his bedroom empty. All right. You can comment no now because this is the meteorite. It's not good.
If you didn't comment yes yet, now you can say no.
Yes,
but if you did already say yes, you can't change it. You're stuck. You're going to have this.
Yeah. So for the ones who had not commented, comment no now, please. Alfred and Maggie return to the spa, telling Dr. Demeter about the difference she has made to them. With a sinister smile, Demeter backs away and says the couple is ready for the final treatment. She motions Lily and Violet forward, revealing she is Poison Ivy. Alfred is too late, realizes the danger, and orders Maggie to run. But the two henchmen spray Maggie and Alfred with the gas of Demeterite, petrifying them both. Oh my goodness. Entering the spa's huge gas greenhouse at night, Batman is surprised and taken prisoner by Violet and Lily. Poison Ivy herself appears to reveal that the Demeterite is a special growth enzyme extracted from a rare South American tree she has kept. Kind of reminded me of the Drake and Josh episode where they were talking about this Peruvian puff pepper. I was like, oh, it's kind of like that, but not really.
Okay.
Not really. Not. As I said, I was like, it does not make sense. She has produced her collection, her victims, of course, all of whom own companies that have committed some environmental crime, and all of them whom have been transformed into a humanoid tree. This is kind of creepy, though. It is very scary to see this, at least in person, I guess.
Right. This is I haven't had a lot of comments about this episode. I don't have much to say about it, but
No.
like this moment is the standout moment of Batman seeing these sort of like tree people, and she's like walking around explaining like what they all did wrong. She's like snapping off twigs and things. It's like, oh my god, like this is a cool moment in an otherwise pretty lackluster episode, in my opinion.
Yeah, man. It's like that movie with Natalie Portman. I don't know if you guys saw it. Yeah, Annihilation. The people are turning to like trees.
Oh, right, gotcha.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was just thinking it's more like, which is funny because like she names herself after a different Greek god. It's the Garden of Medusa.
Oh yes.
It's a little bit like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that. All right. But is Poison Ivy wrong?
Yeah.
These people are messing up the environment.
And she's making them trees.
Yeah, that's also bad.
Yeah, it's like that. You ever see that Captain Planet, Funny or Die sketch with Don Cheadle?
Yes, we all did.
That.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. I see it. She challenges Batman by asking if he is an anti-environmentalist like them. While Batman does not endorse what may have happened, he retorts that Poison Ivy makes her even more appalling than those she wishes to punish. Goddamn. She says she is still targeting Bruce Wayne for Wayne Enterprise, aborting the deal with a slash and burn logging company. But for now, these two will do. Man, is she dumb? That gotta be Bruce Wayne. Come on.
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
Well, she showed Batman the petrified tree forms of Maggie and Alfred, enraging him. She says the transformation will take months of additional spray before it becomes irreversible, and orders Violet and Lily to spray him with a triple strength mixture that should transform him almost instantly. However, Batman advances on the two henchwomen unaffected. Poison Ivy shockingly remarks that Batman should be sprouting leaves by now. And he explains he had analyzed the Demeterite and coated the batsuit with a herbicide, anticipating such a move on her part. Violet and Lily backed away, still spraying, but Batman subdues them both. Poison Ivy somersaults through the branches, firing a crossbow at Batman. She manages to pin him against a tree, and just as she's about to shoot him, he picks up a bucket of tree sap and throws it on her. He misses, but luckily ends up shattering a container of the enzyme in her lab, spilling the enzyme onto the ground of the greenhouse. Instantly, an enormous tree grew out of the ground with a lot of force, scooping up Ivy and her henchwoman into exploding branches. Poison Ivy is apparently crushed between the growing tree and its small roof, but when the growth ends, Batman not only manages to find Poison Ivy's victims and henchwoman, herself to nowhere to be found. Of course, Poison Ivy's victims are treated, and Alfred and Maggie share some rest time at the hospital. Bruce enters with a flower pot to brighten their room. Both Alfred and Maggie recoil. Bruce apologizes and takes away the banquet, to which Maggie remarks to Alfred. Nice man, but not too bright. That's it for this episode. Yeah, not a lot of it's pretty much not a lot of substance for this episode here. A lot of action, pretty much. But do we give this a thumbs up or thumbs down?
Well, it's funny you say not a lot of substance because it's eternal youth. It's about old people trying to be young. But for me, I'm gonna give this episode a thumbs down. It's not like a hate-filled thumbs down. Like I said earlier, there was a part when I was watching this episode, I was like, oh, maybe this will be funny. Like Alfred being a curmudgeon at like the spa and everything.
Yeah.
Maybe this will be like a sillier episode. But it really wasn't. It wasn't that funny. And despite that really cool imagery of like the tree people and Batman horrified, it just wasn't particularly interesting to me. I feel bad because Poison Ivy's only been in one other episode fully. I know she had like a cameo on a different episode, but like that episode was fine. And now this episode is less than fine. So she's gonna have future episodes that I do enjoy. This one definitely could just I could never watch this episode again, and I think I'd be fine.
Damn. Oh, what about you, Ray?
Honestly, the same. It's not funny enough, and because it doesn't lean into the funny with like Alfred, you're kind of just like, why did it take Batman so long to figure out what was happening? Like, yeah, it's a thumbs down. It's just kind of like not good.
Yeah, I agree with you guys too. It's also a thumbs down for me, even though this is the only time we see Alfred having fun outside of the house. But yeah, it is a very weak Poison Ivy episode. But yeah, thumbs down. I think this is our second collectively thumbs down episode. The first one was I got Batman in my basement. So now this is the second time we said this. So now looking after what? How many episodes? 29 episodes, 2 thumbs downs. That's still a good show.
Listen, the last episode we talked about was great, and you know what? The next episode we're talking about is got some really good stuff in it too. So let's just jump into that one.
That's true. Well, I do have an interesting fact for our youth episode. This is one of the few times that Bruce Wayne goes upstairs into Wayne Manor while still in his bat suit. All right. Now our last episode here. Episode 30, Perchance to Dream. Oh man, this is a very dreamy episode here. Well, Batman is chasing some crooks into a warehouse when suddenly he finds he has walked right into a trap. Blinded by a sudden flash of light, he sees something about to fall on his head and is knocked out. It is then that Bruce wakes up in the bed and greeted by Alfred. He seems ignorant of Bruce Wayne's life as Batman, not knowing what he means when he says he fell into a trap and mistakes the name Robin for a name of a woman Bruce may be dating. I hate when people are just messing with you and you think you're crazy. This is what's happening right now.
It's called gaslighting.
Yes, perfect word. I don't know who made that word up, but it's a perfect description. I think I've been gaslighted my whole life. Bruce
Probably.
Yeah. Bruce decides to get back to work as normal, but when he tries to open the clock, he discovers that the secret entrance to the Batcave isn't there. Bruce was very in this episode, in the scene. He was very sarcastic to Alfred here.
This is a very good bit. Yeah, he's like, "Oh, hello, Alfred."
Yeah.
The big hole in the wall with the cars in it. Like he's just Alfred's so worried. He's like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." But Bruce is getting frustrated. Like it's getting too much for him right now.
Oh man. Well, Bruce's frustration turns to shock when he sees that Thomas and Martha Wayne are still alive. Worried, Thomas explains to Bruce and asks him if he's okay. Are you okay, my dude? My son. Bruce answers that he is and continues the day. Holy guacamole. Bruce Wayne's parents are alive. Live and breathing. Confused, as we all are, Bruce talks to Alfred and asks to learn more about his own life. Alfred explains that Bruce is the head of Wayne Enterprise ever since his father retired, though Lucius Fox really runs the company, and that he's due to be married to Selina Kyle. Whoa, okay. If I was Batman. No, sorry. If I was Bruce Wayne's situation, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna marry Catwoman, or what I think is Catwoman. It's all crazy here.
Just accept it.
I guess. I guess so.
That's the real sign that this is a fake, made up world. Like, there's no way Selena Kyle would ever settle down. You know,
no way.
That's the thing. We see her later, and it's like she's all domesticated and whatnot. It's like that is not Selena. No,
that is not her. Well, later that day, Selena goes up to cheer up Bruce. However, Bruce appears outside, shocked and determined to discover what's really going on. Bruce races outside and witnesses Batman stopping a jewel heist from an oddly named store, ALXYJYZIV. Comes in later. Selena explains that Batman just appeared in Gotham a while back ago, and no one knows who he really is. Trying to make more of sense, Bruce asks Selena if she knows Catwoman, and Selena's like, "Oh man, Bruce is getting a little crazy here." So yeah, at this moment, Bruce Wayne is not Batman.
just Bruce Wayne.
He's just Bruce Wayne, and there's a Batman character out there. So it's like it's like a Twilight Zone for Bruce Wayne here.
Yeah, a little bit of a It's a Wonderful Life, sort of. You know, just like what is Bruce Wayne's life if he's not Batman?
Okay.
Which is kind of funny that if he's not Batman, he just lives at home with his parents.
You know what? You know what? I will watch a Wonderful Life because I have never seen it. Now you know. You gave me the premise. How am I watching now?
Yeah. Wait. So I know. Okay, it's reasonable that you haven't seen It's a Wonderful Life. There's a lot of movies out there in the world. Did you not know the premise before?
No.
Now?
No.
Oh, so you're like in that episode of Christmas with the Joker, right? Where Batman's like, I can never get past that title. You're with Batman.
I'm Batman. There we go. I will watch it now then. Well, confused by memories of his previous life as Batman, Bruce goes to see Dr. Leslie Tompkins, our girl. She clears up that Bruce is simply identifying with Batman because he feels as though he has been given everything his whole life, and the lack of real accomplishment is manifesting the fantasy that he is Batman, who has worked for everything he has, and every deed of his is in great value. Relieved, Bruce determines that the nightmare is over. I feel like if we end the episode there, or the show here, Bruce would be a happy man.
I mean, yeah, he sort of accepts this life, but that wouldn't be the case, would it? You know, like
No.
It's not a good thing to do.
Not at all, because he goes to his home and his normal self, according to Alfred. Oh, he came home. He's in his normal self, as Alfred says. Bruce is feeling much happier than Bruce has been happier now than he has been years ago. However, when he tries to read a newspaper, the words appear jumbled. This confirms Bruce's fears that something strange is happening when he tries to read some books in his library, and the words are completely mumbo jumbo. It kind of reminded me of when I was in kindergarten. I was like, I can't read these words. No, that's made that up.
Hey, no, don't do that, because that actually, I'm dyslexic. That's
okay.
Like, You just made that up. Like, no. Like, there are people who, like, can't read because
That's
of their
true.
brain, and you're just
That's-
stealing their story.
No, that is true. That's
Like
true.
that Batman.
That is true. Oh, okay. Shout out to all the dyslexic people out there. We were rooting for you, man.
You might be dreaming.
Yeah, you might be dreaming right now. Perchance.
Gosh.
Bruce starts to lose his mind, as we all do, and realizes that this is the life he is living, is not real at all. He sees a news report about Batman and realizes he has something to do with all of this. Bruce races to a sports shop and buys a grappling hook, a rope, and a flare gun, and some flares. Things go easily enough until he goes outside, and the police confront him on a parking. While he was parking in the no parking zone. When they discovered he's Bruce Wayne, they asked him to come with them because his strange behavior has been reported by his parents. First of all, he's like what, 30, and your parents are he's an adult. Parents should not be worried.
Yeah,
That's what
but
I'm
he's showing erratic behavior.
I
He's
guess.
crazy.
Okay, your parents should be worried. Well,
Should he
Bruce
still
was
be living at home? No, but
not in that age. Not when you're like 40 or something. No.
not when you're a billionaire.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. No, you're right. If you're a billionaire, you can't buy another house. Well, Bruce Wayne was not coming right now, and he makes a break for it. Evading the police, he goes to the Gotham Cemetery and climbs to the top of the bell tower. Batman arrives shortly thereafter, and Bruce attacks him, saying that he's figured it out. This is just a dream. Batman asked him how he knows, and Bruce explains that when he tried to read, he couldn't because reading is a function of the right side of the brain, while dreams come from the left side of the brain. Oh, very smart. While Bruce can't explain how Batman is behind everything, he continues to fight him while the police call out to Bruce when they just want to talk. Ignoring them, Bruce continues to fight and pulls off the Batman's mask to reveal that it is the Mad Hatter. Do you guys like this unmasking part here?
To see
Like
that
the
face?
actual.
Yeah, I like that. The
Yeah.
actual scene. I like it. That was a good scene there. The Mad Hatter explains that this is indeed a dream world, which the real Mad Hatter invented a simulant everything that Bruce wants. Bruce is worried that this means that his secret identity is compromised. But the Mad Hatter assures him that the mind control device reveals nothing to the outside world. Kind of like Inception, I guess. Bruce demands that the Mad Hatter release him, but is told that there is no way out. Bruce looks over the side of the tower and realizes a possible way out, refusing to live a lie. He leaps to his death. This would never happen in a kids show. I guess like attempting suicide for a kids show. It's kind of crazy.
I mean, it would because it's revealed that he doesn't die.
Right.
True,
But
true.
I think that's true.
You can get away with a lot of stuff if it turns out the person's okay.
And it's a dream, so I guess that
Alright.
adds to it. But,
Yeah, it was already confirmed it was a dream too.
but like you mentioned, like Inception, it's very similar to that where, you can
Yeah.
wake up by falling or, being killed, like that. So it does
Yeah.
come out of it. It makes sense. It's a logical way for Bruce to take this leap. It does feel like he was going to say, because Mad Hatter's like, what if it's not real? Or like, what if this is real? Like, this isn't a dream. And it feels like he's going to say that I'll see you in hell. He says, I'll see you in your nightmares. So it's like, okay, that's cool. But I really wanted Batman to say, I'll see you in hell. He didn't
Yeah.
say it.
He did not say it. Crazy though. But as Batman mind is unable to create a scenario in which he has died, he wakes up back in the real world. He finds himself in a room with the Mad Hatter, and a mind control device is on his head. Enraged, Batman makes short work of the thugs and asks the Mad Hatter why he did this. The Mad Hatter, emotionally distraught, breaks down in tears and admits that he always wanted Batman out of his life so badly he was willing to give him a dream world of his own. The police arrive and is taken to custody. Batman then leaves, somberly facing reality once again. This was a crazy episode for Batman or Bruce Wayne. Do we give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
Thumbs up. I thought this was a good episode. It's a really good episode. People remember it fondly, and I mean all the stuff with Bruce almost like trying to rekindle his lost life and like essentially like playing into it, being happy to be like, oh, father, would you like to go to the opera with me and Selena tomorrow? Like he is trying to be that guy, but ultimately it's not the case. I talked about how like Mad Hatter is very one note of a character previously, how it's like, oh, Alice in Wonderland, obsession and things like that. I do like this episode for what it's worth. Like mind control and brain manipulation, like that's in his wheelhouse. I feel like this also could have been a Scarecrow episode, like something like that, to do with the mind and psychology and things. But it works enough, and his whole plot just being of like, I just want you gone so badly, I was willing to give you paradise. Like that's a funny concept, so I like that about it. I don't know what they could possibly do with the Mad Hatter past this point that I'd enjoy, but here it worked. Thumbs up.
Yeah. How about you, Ray?
I mean, I completely agree. This is a great episode. It's a great way to do like a what if and tie it into a character. This showcases Mad Hatter really well, ironically, despite the fact that he's barely in it. Like he excels when you actually see like what it is he wants you to see. It's like why in the Arkham games you get the weird like vision and everything. So yeah, I really like this episode. It's a thumbs up for me as well.
Yeah, thumbs up for me as well. Probably are there more Mad Hatter episodes?
I know he appears in the New Adventures with a redesign, but I don't know if he has any more BTAS stuff. He'll pop up like visually, but I don't know if he has any character spotlights. I don't think so.
Well, this is, I guess at the moment, this is my favorite Mad Hatter episode then. I just want to see people happy, I just want to see Alfred happy with his wife or with his girlfriend. I want to see Batman with Steel and Kyle. I just want people to be happy. But that's not the case right now. But it is a thumbs up episode for me. But of course, I do have an interesting fact for this episode. The theme and conflict found in the episode are both similar to those faced by Superman in the Alan Moore story for the man who has everything. In that story, Mongol used an alien plant to place Superman in a fantasy world where Krypton never exploded.
Yeah, it's the Black Mercy.
There you go.
That is exactly what this episode is. I didn't really think about that before, but that's totally what this is. Which is funny because that episode or that story gets adapted in the Justice League cartoon eventually too. So like we get to see the Superman side of that someday. But yeah, basically the same thing.
There we go. Well, that was episodes 26 to 30. Next time you hear from us, it will be 31 to 35. Yes, 35. For that, Anthony, where can they find you, man?
You can find me at Anthony Lantern on pretty much all social media platforms. I also have a YouTube channel, Anthony Reviews, where I do look at Batman figures from time to time. And then I also have my own podcast called The Grund, where I talk about movies and TV shows and things like that with my friend Kirk.
Fantastic. And what about you, Ray?
You can find me down a rabbit hole. I won't say which one. You have to look.
Well, we will look. We will look. Of course, you can follow this podcast on where you're listening to as Spotify, also on Apple Podcasts. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky at Brownboywonder Podcast. If you want to email me, it's at brownboywonderpodcast@gmail.com. Just email me whatever you want to do. You email me there, and also Ramadan Mubarak for everyone who's participating in this month. Shout out to you, and of course I'm doing that too. And bye. That's it. That's it for this episode.